will you kindly introduce yourself to our people, Miss Katia? You're going to be the co-pilot today, and it's proper for our people, those that haven't know you, to know what you are capable of.
Okay, my name is Katia Valino. It's a big privilege for me to be co-hosting this show today with you. I am Nigerian, Canadian-based blogger and vlogger. So blogger, writing, the website, and then YouTuber, vlog, where you can see everything live. Thank you for having me in this.
Now, tell our people, let them have a little bit of background of what you do. How long have you been doing this, and why did you start, and so on?
Oh, I have been a blogger for this summer will be 3 years, and then I joined YouTube about a year and a half ago. Yes, because the world is changing and revolving. A lot of people, not too many people have time to read right now. So everything is about video. So I have my own channel on YouTube, which is Katia Valino, where you can visualize what I do. I do mostly skincare and sex, marriage, and relationship, which comes every Sunday on my YouTube channel. But on my blog, which is my website, you can get all the news from Canadian, American, mostly Nigerian news. So I call it entertainment, Nollywood, Hollywood website.
I want to say that was really in-depth. Thank you very much. It is proper that we go this route for our listeners, our viewers, to know who you are. We're live now on our YouTube, Facebook, and web TV. Of course, we are live on our radio. If you are listening on the radio side and you want to be part of this, you can as well just go on the page and listen. Now we have somebody that is a great man, and I want to hand it over to you to introduce him before he introduces himself. This is a man that I personally have followed, a man that, in my opinion, that is very unpopular till the result comes out, which I think is great. So, Kati, can you tell us about him?
Chidi, in this studio right now, we have Dr. Cadet Chidi Nwanyanwu. For a lot of people who've been following in Nigerian news and also Canadian local news, Canada local news, Dr. Chidi Cadet Nwanyanwu is an ex-president of NCA, Nigerian Canadian Association, which originated from Toronto, Canada. He was the president for 4 years, 2 tenors. Am I right?
I believe it was 2 years.
Okay, 2 years. But it seems like it's been a lot, right? Because you're all over the place, including city halls and so many things, traveling just to try to make things work. Anyway, Dr. Chidi Cadet Nwanyanwu is an ex-president of Nigerian Canadian Association. He has touched a lot of lives. When I talk about touching a lot of lives, I know him through his foundation. There are so many things that he does, including being the ex-president of Nigerian Canadian Association. So we have him here today in the studio. Perhaps he can help more to elaborate who he is. Welcome to the studio, Dr. Chidi Cadet Nwanyanwu.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Katia Valino. Thank you, Kenny Bass.
We're humbled to have you, sir.
Having me on this program. I am actually not a visitor to this studio.
Correct.
This is our studio, as you know it. Well, for the benefit of our listeners, as Katia Valino has said, my name is Chidi Cadet Nwanyanwu. I have a PhD in philosophy, so that's why the Dr. Chidi in it. I am also a trained architect. I have a master's degree in architecture. And then I'm a business person. I am a minister of the gospel also. So that's all I can say about myself now.
Thank you.
Wow. That's just like a lot. I thought Katia is busy, but it looks like you broke the record.
No, there's so many other things, but I'd like to start from here because I'm also, I own about 4 companies.
Wow.
And, I'm a contractor, I'm a media personality. I'm a vlogger. I'm a blogger.
Yes.
And well, let's just start.
Wow. Oh, wow.
All right.
You know, I want to dive in with this, Katia, by any time you can always jump in. We're going to go back and forth.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself. Let's concentrate on Nigeria now.
Okay.
Who are you in Nigeria? Which part of Nigeria are you from?
Okay. I'm an Igbo person. I'm from Omuago village in Ozala, which is in Kano West local government of Enugu State of Nigeria. That is my background in Nigeria.
Wow, that's amazing. And can you take us through how long have you been in Canada and what really brought you into Canada in the first place?
You know, it's amazing when you come to Canada newly, when they ask you, say, no, I've not been long here, just 2 years. Then you realize 3 years, 4 years. Well, I came to Canada in 2007. I had a successful business in Nigeria. I was running an architectural building company. I had my office in Asokoro, and I was also the project architect for Royal Family Academy that built the Family Worship Center. It was a 500 million naira project then. But my wife, being a Canadian citizen, after we got married, she wanted us to relocate, which was like a big devastation for me because I was going to close down my company. I had over 50 workers and I had a lot of clients, but she convinced me to come with her to Canada, and so we closed shop and we relocated to Canada. She sponsored me.
Oh wow, greener pasture.
Yeah,
right?
But I don't regret it. I don't regret it.
Wow, I'm amazed.
Me
amazed.
too.
That's the power of women.
Yes,
That's the power of women.
Women are the boss.
Yeah, but since coming to Canada, share with us at the initial, let's say the first 1 year, what was your experience?
Oh my God, first 1 year was a big shock. You know, like every other immigrant, you suffer that cultural shock. You know, a few things that I used to relate with my first time in Canada. I remember going into a Tim Hortons shop, and I was hungry really, and I was standing in the line, and I was asking the lady, said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want that cake." And I was pointing at the cake, and the lady was like, "Please, we don't have cake here." And I was so with my frustration of everything. I wasn't driving. I'd been in the car and subway. I said, "I want that cake." She said, "We don't sell cake here." I just flew off. I said, "Are you being racist? You've been selling things to people." And then the manager came and said, "What's the problem?" I said, "This lady, there's cake here and she doesn't want to sell cake to me." I said, "Sir, which one?" I said, "Sir, that's a muffin, not cake." I said, "Oh, sorry. Where I come from, we call it cake." And then there were so many other things.
So let's drive through the business arena now. Katia, you can jump in at any time.
Okay.
As a businessman that have to close your business or businesses in Nigeria, what kind of shock did you find out when you come here as a business person?
When I came here as a business person, it wasn't easy to break even. No construction. The system of construction here was different from Nigeria. In Nigeria, we built with concrete blocks and cement. Here, they built with wood and what do you call it? And drywall. So, and I didn't have that kind of money to go start training, and we needed to hit the ground running. We needed to make money. So, in order to get training, I joined Habitat for Humanity, and I volunteered for free. So, while I volunteered for free, I was also attending the newcomer program at JVS. So, from going to the place and volunteering free, I was able to learn their style of building. And but from that, also, I joined the construction team. I was laying tiles in the construction company. I did everything. I was cleaning. I was doing drywall. I was in the moving industry, helping to move. I did all kinds of odd jobs in the factory just to make it until after learning the system, I and my wife will now open our own company. That was like after 3 months of being here. And it's
just 3 months.
Yeah, I would like to quickly tell you how we opened our company. I went to work, and when I came back after 1 day, my body was shaking. I was so much shaking. I was in pain. We went to the emergency. They looked at me. They said nothing was wrong with me. I was rolling on the floor. The doctor said nothing was wrong with you. We went home. I went to my doctor the next day, a family doctor. I said, "Chidi, you know what, you're suffering from clinical depression. I said, what? Why? Me? I came back, I told my wife, I'm no longer working. Everything has changed. I said, what is happening to me? Who are we? So I said, we need to go back to who we were. That same day, we went to Valley Village. We bought this pinafore. You know, that jean one. We bought pinafore. We bought t-shirts. I can hang. We came. We washed it at the laundry. We dried it. We went on Kijiji. We put we applied for a company, registered a company online, and then we went and posted on Kijiji that we were into all kinds of jobs. The first job we got was a cleaning job. We didn't have a car. We drove there with a bicycle. That we bought $10 from the supervisor in an apartment. That was the first job we did, and from that day we never worked for anybody till today.
Wow, that's amazing. You know what? Can you say, like, when you put all these things together, can you say that gaining the strength and the power to be the leader, that all these things that you just mentioned right now got you prepared to being a leader? Because I know that you were also the president of Enugu State. Is that how it started? Like, have you always seen yourself as a leader, or is it like when Canada opened the door for you, like you were able to learn the experience to work with other people, to really test cultural shock? Will you like put everything together to say that all these things made you prepared to become the president of Enugu Association, and then to dive into being or becoming the president of Nigerian Association? Can you please lead us through?
Okay, thank you, Katevalino. My experience in leadership started all the way back to growing up. I've always known myself to be somebody who wants to get things done. I'm always like, I'm action oriented. Most times it gets me into trouble because when people are still planning, I'm like, let's start doing it. So in primary school, I would organize our friends, and if somebody said we don't play their ball, I would say, let us leave that ball. Let's use orange to play football. Katevalino knows me all the way back to my childhood. She knows the kind of person I was. I was an action person. I got into trouble. But in secondary school, I was a member of the senior debating society at DMGS. I ended up being a prefect, a light prefect in our school. I also became a member of the cultural dance troupe. Then leaving secondary school, I also became the president of the ASEC. I've forgotten what they're called now. But I was the president of that association. Then when I came to the university, I was into various leadership positions there too. I don't want to bore you with all that. When I ended up in Abuja, that's when my leadership skills were really groomed at Family Worship Center under Pastor Enole Gomaku, who is late now, but that church was a leadership-based church. So they trained you on how to be a leader. He believed that everybody in the church has to be a leader. You have to be working in ministry. Wow. So that's where it's not one thing I can compliment for whatever leadership skills I've gained, but everything, all my experiences growing up, some hard times that I had, growing up, some tough situations I've had to be in, they all just combine to really help me achieve whatever I achieved as a leader.
Okay, that sounds good. I also know that you're a pastor, or I don't know, is it something that you also learned growing up? Like you were talking about in Abuja, how pastor trained you guys and stuff like that. Is this also something that led you or opened the door or the avenue for you? Sorry, but I just want to touch a little bit on the being a pastor. Religious aspects of your life. Just a little bit. I hope I'm not boring you guys.
No. The thing there is, you see, my style of evangelism, or my style of ministration is a lifestyle ministration. I don't like carrying it all over the place. I know a lot of people who have said, Chidi, you're not Jim. You don't preach in Jim. They even doubt the fact that I'm a pastor, but I'm a pastor. I'm a minister of the gospel. In fact, actually, that's why the doctor is actually Reverend. I should be answering Reverend Dr. Chidi. But the thing there is, when I gave my life to Christ, way back in Asuka, way back in Boko when I was in youth service. Before then, I had been. We'll talk about that another day. My former life before I became born again, but I gave my life to Christ. I trained. I became a minister in a family worship center, as a care group leader, then later a coordinator of care groups, and then later on, I just continued to grow in the ministry and win souls to Christ. You know, I'm also a worshiper. I sing in the choir, and I have a gospel album, as you know. So I reach people as much as possible. But what I used to drag people to Christ is I want them to look at my lifestyle and be able to say, there's something about this guy. And as they draw close to me and I get an opportunity to minister to them, I minister to them.
That's awesome.
No, what I want to ask is that how do you tie being a leader to a religious person?
Okay, because for you to be a minister, you are actually a leader, either a deacon or that is a position of leadership. Because even in the Bible, it enumerates what is expected of a deacon, where it says a deacon is to be a husband of one wife, not a drunk, not so many things. So those are the qualities that makes you a leader. So it is actually of great benefit to you when you have some religious background. But you know, people abuse these things, as we know. You know, I'm also on the case of Nigerian pastors who misbehave. So being a religious person or being a minister is no guarantee that you'll be a good leader, right? But it is a good step towards making you a good leader, because all your training is about how to be a shepherd of people, how to lead people.
I'm going to take you back to Canada now. I want us to talk about the other aspect now,
Okay.
which is being, you introduce yourself as someone that is in the media too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So why do you went into the media? Why do you do what you do? We're going to go into the leadership more now, but
Yeah.
let's talk about the media side of it now.
Okay.
I see you're very active in the media, and I won't say you are very controversial, but you're very active in the media. So what do you do? What do you do?
Actually, controversy is good for the media business, so you can say that. Well, as an architect, okay, you are exposed to the arts, you're exposed to creativity. We do a lot of. I'm also an artist, so I'm a very good artist. I can paint portraits that replicate the person. So that skill, combined with my architectural skills and my photography skills, made me, go into. Actually, let me tell you what. I went into media because when I was in school, it was difficult to get by. So I had to support myself. So right there in school, those of you that went to University of Nigeria, I had the Hard Knot Design Group from my year one. I put a poster out there in the main hall because, let me just go back a little bit. When I was going to school, there was no money, and my mother told me to wait till there was money to go back. So, Mommy, as long as I've seen my name, I'm going to school. I just packed my bag and ended up in school. I didn't even have money to pay for tuition. I just asked my friend and they spotted me. I went around and I saw people carry Valentine card. I was there in January, towards the middle of January. I said, what is this? It says Valentine card. I said, how much? They told me how much. I said, I can make this now. I went, used money to go and buy. In fact, I advertised that I can make the card without having money. So when the people now paid me advance, and I went across the gate of our school, front gate, went and bought cards, and that's how I started making customized cards, started making money, started making pictures. So that was the beginning of my media thing. And then as I now came to study architecture, I went into modeling, I went into making clothes, I went into so many aquarium, and I was doing it for other students. When I left school, I just continued in the media business.
Wow.
Actually, let me tell you something. Kelechi Amadiobi, Zulu, the number one photographer in Nigeria, we're all schoolmates. We all used to play with camera photography and experiments. So
now, the reason I brought this up is that I want to touch that area first before we go into the main core while we're sitting here today, which I believe that a lot of people at home are eager to hear that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of controversy that has happened. I mean, I used to follow you on YouTube.
Yeah.
At some point, I saw that YouTube was down for some reasons.
Yeah.
And then it's back up now, and so on. What really happened? Can you explain to us what happened, or what happened before that happened?
Okay, good. You see, the thing is, I wear so many hats, okay, and sometimes they conflict, and it's difficult for you to really separate them. The lines are too blurred between being one thing at a time and being the other thing at a time. I'm the director of Worship Media, which is into media, photography, videography, YouTube, Twitter, and all that. And I had a YouTube channel way before I became the president of NCA. Now, when I became the president of NCA, we tried to use everything to project NCA, and your humble self was so instrumental in helping us to get out there. And so, while I was president of NCA, we did a lot to try to defend the rights of anybody who was in Toronto, here in the GTA. Mm-hmm. So when I heard that a young lady, Stephanie Otobo, was having issues with an Apostle Suleiman Johnson in Nigeria, I initially ignored it. It wasn't a big deal to me. But then I now saw them mention that she lives in Toronto, and I was like, wow, this is one of us. She lives in Toronto and this is happening. Then I got more interested. Then I saw her do a video that, oh, I'm back here in Toronto. And I said, no, we got to get to this lady. And I made a call to her lawyer. The rest is history. But in trying to give her a voice through my media platform, of course, before I did the interview, I sought the consent of the NCA Toronto Board of Directors. I texted them and I said, I want to do this interview with this young girl. I'm doing the interview as Worship Media, but when I'm doing the interview, I'm going to also be making reference to the fact that I am the Nigerian Canadian Association Toronto president. And they said, go ahead. So with their permission, I did that interview. Of course, Katia Velino was grateful.
You can weigh in on this.
Gracious. let me lie. Katia Velino was gracious enough to join in the interview. You also, Kenny, you provided a lot of information that helped me. I'm so grateful for that. But that interview was so explosive that I know what happened. Our YouTube channel rose to over 10,000 or close to 10,000. And all of a sudden, they started sending out messages, started spamming us, and eventually YouTube had to bring us down. So we know that's what brought us down. But we are back again. Worship Media is back again. By the way, go and subscribe to Worship Media on YouTube.
Yes. But, Katia, what was your experience having that interview? Because, one might see that interview as a community service, or another person from their eye can see it as being like a rebel. Somebody actually was saying something is along the line of Antichrist. So it was very controversial, and more controversial because of your position. So what's your way on that, on those comments?
Yes, I was one of the people that interviewed Stephanie Otobo, but I don't think that this interview really is more to talk about Stephanie and the interview and stuff like that. People are waiting to know about Nigerian community presidents, but I'm just gonna touch a little bit on that. Being a woman on the limelight, like, I know that when you come to Canada or Toronto and talk about blogger or whoever, women in the media industry, you talk about Katia Velino and Chidi being a family of mine. We are brother and sister. And me being there for women, I am their advocate, like a voice for women. Growing up in Nigeria, I can tell you that I have an idea of what Stephanie went through, and Chidi, knowing that I am that kind of person that was raised in Nigeria and a voice for women, when he contacted me and gave me a little bit of information of what was going on, hey, I did not hesitate, because I really, really wanted to get an insight of that story, to really see what was going on, to be the voice, the master speaker, or the voice speaker for the women who are also or always being marginalized, that they don't have voice.
One thing I know that I can say, no matter what you do, if you have it in mind that you're going to please everybody, you're going to fail.
No, definitely.
You have, as long as you put it out there,
Yeah.
you're going to have different kinds of opinion.
Yeah.
So on my own perspective, in my own opinion, it's always great for somebody to put something out there. At least it can generate all opinion and so on.
Yeah.
You are so correct. It's not. We're just trying to clear the air before we get to the main thing. And when I was talking to him from some of the messages, he did approve that we can bring that up.
Yeah.
And that's why I brought it up slightly.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say this, that we don't regret going to that Stephanie Otobo's thing. What I know that everybody knows the truth. I'll just leave it at that. We succeeded in giving people, making people know the truth, and we think they know the truth. Let everybody just deal with it in their own way, but we don't regret it.
Thank you very much. Having said that, let's go back to your current position. You can chip in anytime if you have anything. Go ahead.
Yeah, some people are sending me questions on my phone, and if you can see, that's exactly what I'm looking at. Oh, can you ask him this? Can you ask him that? So is that okay if I go ahead?
Sure.
I'm not going to call people's name, but we have like few questions here. Somebody said you were a president of the organization for 2 years. Briefly, what would you say was your singular greatest influence in the organization?
You know what I would say, Katia? That's a very good question. I'm glad it's written. Let us first of all find out why he chose
to be the
president, how, and then we can go into the question segment.
Okay.
That way, maybe that question will be answered,
Okay.
why it's explained, and so on.
Okay, thank you. Why I chose to go into being the president of NCA, it was a mixture of things. First of all, when I came to Canada, after about 2 years of my stay in Canada, and of course I don't like to just not participate, so I was giving my input. I was participating as much as I could. My wife was also participating even with her pregnancy and all that. And when it was time for election, I asked people, so what are we doing about the election? Because the president then has done his term. And they were like, there's somebody that just wanted him to be president. And I said, why do you want the president to be president? I said, I think he wants it. Let's just give it to him now. I said, no. What is the person's plan? What's their vision for the association? I said, we don't know, but let's just give it to him. I said, no, that's wrong. We should try to have a plan. We should try to have a vision. So I said I would like to contest because I think there are things I can do for Enugu State Association. And they said, yeah, go ahead. So I indicated interest. I won the presidency. And I think, well, it's out there for people to judge, but I did my best with the team that we had then, Dr. Emeka Okolo and the rest of them. We did the best. We brought government officials from Nigeria to Canada. We did a big symposium and convention at Sheraton Hotel. A big event. We revitalized the Enugu State Association. Now, from being a member of Enugu State Association, I had people who were supposed to be representing Enugu State Association in NCA. So when they were not forthcoming, people are busy, so people didn't have time. And I queried them. I said, why are you guys not going to the meeting? And one of them was like, this is my friend, you're the president. Why don't you go there and be representing us? Why must you send people? I said, okay, I think we should be there. It's important that we're there. So I started attending NCA. And then when I got there, I started making input. And when the opportunity came, when I did 2 years for Enugu State Association, after 2 years, we had a new president. And when I was now free, the president of NCA just called me and said, hey Chidi, we need you. You need to come and work with us. I joined. First of all, I joined as a committee member for that independence anniversary celebration, as a member of the committee with a lot of other people. So after that, when it was now the time, after that, when they did the election, I became the social secretary for NCA. So that's why a lot of people think I have been there for a long time, because as a member of the committee, I was very, very active. I helped with so many things. Because I also had a media company, I was always doing videos and projecting NCA for free, So they will always hear me talk about NCA. As social secretary, we did a lot also. We did a lot on Facebook and so many places. And eventually, when it was time for the presidential election, I never thought about being the president of NCA, but the vacuum was created. Nobody actually even wanted to become the president of NCA. There were not people, enough people to vie for the position. So I just had to fill in the space, you know, and that's how I became the president of NCA. One thing I would like to add is that when I came here and they were doing passport renewal, we went to do the passport for our child. NCA, I wasn't a member of NCA, and my wife was there for a long time. It was not a very nicely organized event then, you know. I don't know whether it was because of the people that came or because of the organizers, but there was a lot of chaos. So she stayed there till about 1:30 a.m. with our little baby, about 4 months old baby then. So when I was calling her, and she said, no, they've not attended to us, I came to that place. So when I came to the place and I tried to talk to the people, to the organizers, they were like, my friend, go and sit down. I said, me, sit down? Do you know who I am? No, you must listen to me. They said they will not listen to me. I mounted the table in that hall and I started banging on it. I said, everybody, let me get your attention. They said they will push me down from the table. They tried to. I said, okay, since you touched me, I'll show you why. And I called the police. And the police came there, the whole thing. So somebody said, since you have all this idea, why don't you come to NCA and try to make things better? So I finally came to NCA to do my bit.
Awesome.
Wow. Go ahead, Kati, you have any?
You know, I think that being the president of Enugu Association, from all these things that I'm hearing right now, kind of gave you the leverage to gave you the platform of moving forward. Like they always say, so many people sit back and say, oh, if this and this and this is done that way, it could have been better. So I think that you took a good initiative, and when people were telling you, why don't you come and become the president of NCA to try to change things around? So being already the president and the other association, and also all the ideas and trying to bring some changes into the community or association, I think that from where you were to where you were going played a very big impact in setting you up and ready for becoming the president of NCA.
No doubt. I think my presidency of Enugu State Association helped me so much, because especially when we were organizing the convention, we had to gain access to a lot of government offices, and then even at this point in time, I would like to thank Councillor Jim Karigianis. He was very instrumental. He's been a friend of the Nigerian community. But way back then, as the president of Enugu State Association, he will collect all the visa applications by himself, and he will talk to the embassy in Lagos on our behalf. It was that good. So all that already prepared me for service in the Nigerian community. You know.
That's awesome.
I'm just want to now we're at the stage whereby you are already in the office as the #1 citizens of Nigeria in the GTA, which was good. What was the first challenges that hit you upon arrival in the office?
The first challenge that I had was this apathy that Nigerians had towards NCA. They didn't think there was any reason or any need for them to come to NCA. Let me go back a little bit. You see, as social secretary, working with the president then, Mr. Fabian Nwoha, who, to his credit, he did a lot of work in NCA. A lot of people don't know the background of what he did. He was able to kind of straighten NCA and made NCA more professional. You know, things were really straightened and done professionally. You know, he did a very good job. But when he had reason to go to Nigeria, I think it was business. So he took off to Nigeria to go and attend to some business. And Safia Ahmed took over as the vice president, and she did a great job too. She did her best to keep the community alive and going. But I don't know where something happened, but I think the absence of the president then kind of affected things.
Left a vacuum.
Yes, it left a vacuum. So things started dwindling, membership, attendance, and a lot of things started. And there was also this, and we'll talk about that later, out there in Ottawa, people were misrepresenting NCA terribly. So, but a lot of things culminated in this apathy towards NCA. So when you were telling people about NCA when we took over, they were not interested. Those were the initial challenges that we had, trying to bring people to be interested in NCA again. And I would like to talk later what we did to try to bring back that interest in NCA.
Wow, do you want to weigh in?
Did you think it was because of like coming from Nigeria, where we have so many tribes and cultures and stuff like that, even till today, there's Igbos, there's Yoruba, there's Hausas, there's Efik, there is this. So do you think that all this tribalism and not being one, like not having one language, native language or local language, that binds everybody together, did you think it was one of the reasons why, like, it was hard for you in the beginning to bring everybody to be on the same platform?
Okay, mfaga I'm more TV guy, but
everything are true.
Msu TV being. Do you know why I said that?
No.
Do you know I did that because I want to make a point. I'm so tired and frustrated of Nigerians thinking that they are just about 2 or 3 languages. Every time there's comparison about this, no, I just spoke TV to you, but nobody talks about TV people. There are over 300 and other languages. So if because you think they are not talking about your language because you're one of the main languages and you're frustrated and you don't want to come to what is going on, then sorry to say this, but okay, I'm on there, I won't say that. But we should stop thinking that there are so many other, and I hate to use the word minority language, but there are so many other people who come from other parts of Nigeria who are not really heard about. Their languages are not heard about because there are not so many of them here. Their culture is not projected because there are not so many of them. Why do we always think that? Because the predominant ones, if it is not about them, if they don't matter, then they are not interested. You're right. A lot of people were not interested in NCA because of who was sitting there, where the person was from. They're waiting for somebody who speaks their languages from their area before they become interested. But you forget that there are people. If we begin to go turn by turn, it will take 300 and something years for some people's tribe to be represented, and so that is wrong. But that is one of the contributing factors, but that would not be a main factor. It's just that things happen. Like I said, I will talk about the things that we did to try to revitalize interest in NCA.
One thing that I can say, I was brought into partnership, GBK FM, through you, to partner with NCA in some project or pilot project, I would say. One thing that I can give you credit on, this is me speaking and not GBK FM, you being able to bring it out to everybody that NCA exists and break that veil that was there, even communication within NCA and the local government and so on. I can give you guys a credit for that. But how hard was it to be able to now open a communication channel with the NCA and the provincial government, local government, and so on?
Okay, so what we did was when we came, of course, whenever I say we, it's important to mention the people who were the we then. When we were contesting for positions, then people were not interested. Nobody bought forms, so we ended up with 3 officials: myself, the vice president then, Roslyn Okobie, and then Benjamin Alunyo. 3 of us were the ones that started that administration. We sat down together, we looked at NCA, and we had a plan about where to go, which is captured in a video. I think the video is still there, or maybe it was taken down when they took down Worship Media Channel. But we also published where we were going so that people can use that to kind of judge us or help us or advise us. The first thing we did was to use social media, because that was just when WhatsApp was beginning to be popular. So we came out with a WhatsApp group. That WhatsApp group was the first mobilization tool that we used, and it worked so well. It was so active and so provocative that it had to be shut down, because then, actually, the things that made it to be shut down then, things that people are saying now on social media is worse than what made it to be shut down. But because people were beginning, it was new. So people were not comfortable with so much information, so much thing that was going on, and it had to be shut down. It was, and also relating with the government then was so difficult because some things that happened with some like 3 administrations before us or so, I don't remember when, but we had a picnic. NCA had a picnic where there was things were not done well, and the government kind of blacklisted NCA. So anytime you mentioned NCA for anything, nobody was interested. So it was difficult for us.
So how did you now work hard and put your time in to raise that kind of
so what we did
scenario
was
that you just described?
We had a WhatsApp group that people were coming into, and we used that to advertise ourselves. We had a Facebook group that we're doing interviews and posting it on Facebook. We're reaching out to people. We're commenting on what was happening in Nigeria. Then we reached out to people like Councillor Jim Karijanis, who now helped us. He signed our application for. He's actually our sponsor for NCA right now. He's the official sponsor because you need someone in government to sponsor you for like applying for meetings and all that. So he helped us to be able to access even the mayor's office and a lot of minister offices, especially when we're having events and we needed to invite them. So he was instrumental in kind of opening the door to us and introducing us. And of course, when they see somebody in government talking on our behalf, it made it easy. And also we had great Nigerians in our midst. We reached out to them, people like Dr. Olakazim, people like Chief Umbulu, people like Isao Didi. All of these people reached out to them and they helped us talk to some other people. We actually called a meeting of all the leaders then in our community. That was the first thing we did. We did a meeting of all the leaders and we asked them, what do you want to see in NCA? It was after they told us what they wanted to see in NCA that we were able to craft where we wanted to go. And we did a couple of other things. We attended events that people, oh my God, you attend events, you spray your money. I don't know, people thought maybe it was NCA money that you used to go and pull. NCA constitutionally does not have any provision for attending funerals. So if I came to your funeral and I was spraying money, it was my own personal money, please. But me and the other officials, Rosalind, they went out, and then much later, when other officials were added to us, like Madam Trudy, Dr. Gobadia, Sheila, and Social Secretary then, TJ, Tokumbo, Jabori, all of them, they all did their best. We distributed ourselves, we attended events to people, and every opportunity we had, we talked about NCA.
No, there was, you can chip in and know that.
That's okay, go ahead. Talk.
There was a town hall meeting that was organized. I think it was a town hall meeting. One was the one I actually participated on, which was about the what's happening in Nigeria.
Yes.
I don't want to be specific. So what gives you guys, your administration, that motive why you are in Canada and at the same time fighting for the cause of what is happening in Nigeria?
You see, people used to say, let's talk about Nigeria. Let's focus on Canada. I don't know about you, my brother, but whenever I get that phone call from Nigeria, it shatters every other thing I'm doing here in Canada. I could be going to work in the morning and they call me and they say, brother, you know that on call, every other thing gets to be affected. So that's why no matter how you try, we know that Nigerian Canadians here in Toronto are affected by what is happening in Nigeria. So we attend to things that are happening here in Canada. And when I say we, I'm talking about when I was NCA president, not now. So then we also tried to touch on things that were happening in Nigeria. So that time, there was this issue about Fulani headsmen were killing people all over the place, even in my village. They had attacks, and it was a burning issue, and it was out there on the WhatsApp group. So we all decided that, in fact, we had you actually anchored.
We broadcast. We had it live.
Yeah, we had an online town hall meeting.
And it was live. Yeah,
it was live, and from that we went and did a demonstration at Dundas Square. And so when Abike Dabri was around, we told her, we talked with the High Commission and we helped them to organized a town hall meeting, and she came to the town hall meeting.
I was there too.
Yeah, you were there too. And see, I there's nothing hidden about it. That was when the Biafra issue was also going on.
That brings me to the Biafra issue.
Okay.
That's where I'm driving at. I'm sorry, ma'am.
That's okay.
There were a lot of things. This interview here is, to me, I'll tell you, I'm also happy, very happy that my sister is here. She's one of the people in the industry I respect a lot. And I know that JBKFM, we are young in the game, but we are making waves.
Yeah,
and we know where we currently are, and I thank God for that.
Yeah.
That's not it's, well, I say brag, right?
Well,
Yes,
brag. If you don't blow your trumpet,
Swag. Nobody will blow it for you. Swag. You must have your own swag. GBK.
Look at you guys. Come on.
It's all about GBKFM.
Okay, let's go
we
straight to
know.
the point now. We're going to clear the air. I personally, as I mentioned in my open remark, I follow you a lot. I respect you a lot. I even told you that personally, and I'm saying it live now.
You know I respect you too.
Yeah, I do know that. But the reason I do that is not. I don't have a personal relationship with you like on every day. Say we call each other. But following what you've done and me knowing what the result is going to be, even if it's unpopular right now, I kind of endorse it because I know how it's going to end.
You came very close. You saw some backyard.
Yeah. So when
Yes,
the Biafra thing was happening, even when we did Abike Dabiri, everybody was there. I remember you approached me and I was going to an event. You said you are going to the same event. The Biafra guys or something was having an event. There were a lot of talk tying you to the Biafra movement during that process. Can you, at least you are no more in the office now, nobody's going to beat you. Can you clear the air for once?
Okay. At one time when I was here and having an interview, you asked me, you said, Chidi, you said something about tribe. You said, Chidi, do you think you're tribalistic? And I said yes. And that shocked you.
Yeah, I remember.
I said, no, I'm a tribalistic person. And you're like, Chidi, how can you say that? I said, yes, because let me tell you something. What is the name of your radio station?
GBKMFM.
No,
Great Benin Kingdom Media.
Great Benin Kingdom Media. You know, I told you that one of the things I liked about you is the fact that you are also tribalistic.
Well, in associate.
No. But let me explain. It's just a manner of speech. I don't mean tribalistic in the bad way. It's not good.
Yeah, I got you. Because you were just talking about
it is not good to be tribalistic in a bad way. But listen, if you are not the kind of person who knows where he's coming from, if you do not respect your heritage, if you do not really value where you're coming from, I usually don't have much to do with you. I suspect you. But if I see you champion the cause of where you're coming from. You have a foundation. You promote your cause. Like GBK FM, you talk about so many things. You talk about Caribbeans, you talk about Canada. But look, you didn't want to change the name. A lot of people must have told you, you need to drop this Benin thing. Because, but you didn't drop it because you want people to know where you're coming from. You want this mass to be projected.
Yes.
My brother, it is not by mistake that you were born a Benin man. No matter what people say, you are still a Benin man.
You know,
so you need to be proud of where you're coming from. Me, till tomorrow, till I die, whether you put a gun in my head, I have Biafran blood running in my veins. I have a Biafran story. I was born during the Biafran war. My mother's womb was cut open. She was still on the theater table, clutching her tummy when the Nigerian Air Force plane came and bombed. Yes, and then all the doctors left her there. She crawled to where I was, clutching one hand, her belly with one hand. She used the other hand to pull me down from the table, and she lay over me when the bullets were. So such things, when they tell me that I'm a child of that war, I keep telling people, you can't sell Biafra to me. So let me get to what I'm saying. But I was not a member of IPOB. I was not a member of IPOB. But did I think that they had a reason for self-determination? Yes. Do I think that any Nigerian, any person has a right to self-determination as enshrined in the Constitution of Nigeria? Yes. How they go about it is their business. If they go about it well, they will achieve their thing. Correct. If they make mistakes, they will. If you go against the laws of the Federation of Nigeria, you will get what comes to somebody who disobeys the law. So then, with all that was going on, I was focused. We had a town hall meeting when the IPOB people came into that town hall meeting, I approached them and I said, guys, everybody's allowed here, but
I was there.
You were
Can
there.
you even say
Exactly.
what you said? As long as you're gonna be peaceful,
exactly,
everybody's allowed. And I was there. So.
You thank God, and to even crown it all, Abike Dabiri, who was a representative of the government, when some people started shouting, she said,
no, let them be.
Let them be, as long as you conduct yourself properly. The reason is that if they had become violent, I would have been the first person to call the police on them. Because you don't do that. We are in a country that respects people's rights, but we're also in a country that disciplines people when they disobey the law. Like you have said, people will not understand everything you do. They will say things, but it's just a matter of time. Time will reveal everything. Time will vindicate you. So I think for them, I am glad that they conducted themselves properly. And it went on well. Abike Dabiri took pictures with them, and she even tweeted it. You know, so if somebody like that, who represents the Nigerian government, didn't have any problem with me, that is just the local champion, why are you blaming me? So the fact is, to clear the air, I was just the Nigerian Canadian Association president. My interest is for Nigeria, but being the president of the Nigerian Canadian Association does in no way dilute my Igboism.
I like that, Igboism.
Okay. And why? Sorry, quickly. Why I also had to speak TV is, look, man. If you are like me and you went around Nigeria and you schooled where I school and you did business with people that I did business, you understand why I'm a detribalized person. I have friends who are Hausa people, Yoruba people, Nupe people, Cross River people. I speak so many Nigerian languages. That's why I am.
We'll be going to the questions soon. I just wanted to give more air. You can always jump in. You know, I know we're going very political.
No. I'm not really a political person, right?
What was the most? What would you say was your biggest achievement in office?
My biggest achievement would be that we managed, and not me, the team that we had in the administration then, we managed to rescue NCA from extinction, and we saved NCA for the next level of people to continue. We set out, because we took over NCA when people said, allow NCA to die. I will not mention names, but somebody who was a highly respected person in NCA had called me there and said, Chidi, this thing you're doing, you're just killing yourself. Allow this association to die. Wow. People will not realize when it dies, then they will know what they are missing, then they will take it serious and will start all over again. Said, look, there's been an association like this that died, and it's only when it died that people understood. I said, no, I respect you, ma, but let me try another alternative. Let's try another option. If that doesn't work, then we'll let it die. The people that started, the other two people, I had to really beg them. I begged them, literally begged them, before they could even, because they knew what they were going into. So my greatest achievement would be that we did everything to not let it, including, there are just so many things we had to do. We had to work with what we have. There was no money, there was zero budget for our activities, but we did all that, sustained the momentum until we crossed over. We are actually in transition now, but I'm so proud of what the men and women that worked with me did. It was so sacrificial. They used their money, they used their time, they worked when they were. Right now, I'm so glad with what the Caretaker Committee is doing. People are coming into NCA, we're beginning to populate the place again, but you can imagine working in a place where there are no people to help you and you had to do so many things by yourself. In fact, people started saying that I was power drunk, I was doing so many things by myself, not knowing that we were doing it because there was nobody to help. You were not a member of NCA, but you came that night and you were carrying our drinks around, arranging the hall. I gave you my card and my wife's card to go and buy drinks on the independence event. So
we actually came with and you came with your staff.
You came with your staff. You came with your staff. So
we supported the event with 3 staff.
Yeah. So that was what we did within that period. I'm so proud of it, and we projected NCA. People came to know NCA. People knew NCA all over the place. People would be calling from everywhere and say, "Oh, we saw what you guys are doing. We saw the video." And then I'm also proud of what I was able to do with my video.
Before we start taking questions, I have questions too. What do you think is the way forward, the next level for NCA? Because you can take it from here.
No. That's okay. We are all on the same page.
We're synchronized.
Yes, we're synchronized. And most of the questions that came my way has to do with everything that we're talking about right here. I just have to comment Chidi before we start going. From everything that he was saying, like he was not able to let that ship capsize. He was able to use his own personal effort collaboratively with people outside to revive from when you say that somebody called you to say that you should let the association die. You did not believe in that. That's a big kudos to that, because you can tell that NCA was like almost dead before you came in.
Yeah.
And you tried to revitalize it, to revive it again, to bring it to where it is today, knowing that you still have small children in your house, in your home, and your hands are full from construction to media to all these things. You never, sometimes I'll call your house on Sunday morning and I say, Chidi, are you really going to church? You sing in the choir, you do this, you do. Not a lot of people will sacrifice so much for an association that they know that nothing is coming out of it, just to bring the name up.
You know, I'm going to quickly rub back.
There was a question you asked, I hadn't answered it, but go ahead.
Go ahead, it would be nice.
The last question, what was it when you said that? Okay, don't worry, it will come.
Okay, we'll get back to that. I'm satisfied with your response you gave. If I wasn't, I would have bring it back. And if anybody's listening at home or viewing, you're not satisfied, you can always send us comment, and then he's kind enough to take it.
On Facebook Live.
Are
we all tagged?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's tagged, and there are people sharing it too. What I was going to say to you is that there are some.
You said what's the way forward?
Yes, I'm going to go there.
Okay.
There are some certain things that happen, like my friend will say, something happened for something to happen.
Yes.
You know, you only need to have or sit on that leadership seat or have a foresight to be able to say, I endorse it from the beginning. Usually things that succeed at the end get very unpopular at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Just like Obamacare and so on and so forth. So now my question that I asked before was that, what do you see the next level? What is the next level? What are you forecasting it for NCA?
I think NCA is on a good track. Okay, what NCA is doing is fine. Okay, when I was there as the NCA president, we just kept asking people, what do you want us to do? I said, I will step down if you think that I am the problem that NCA had. I said that a couple of times. And so some people came to us then, some of our members, and say, allow us to craft the way forward for NCA. And I was like, fine, go ahead. So a group of our guys then, people like Mr. T, Big T. I see.
You know what's funny?
Big T has made me forget his name.
You know what's funny about that thing you're bringing up? That question was actually posed on the general group.
Okay, so
remember, I don't know if you remember. They said that allow us to craft the way.
Good,
I remember that question.
So it was
craft.
Big. Yeah, because the thing is that the group was very, very active, and we'll talk about the group.
You were not in the group?
I am in the
Where were you?
Oh no,
guys,
it's so many things going on.
So
I pick and choose when I come to the group.
So it was Big T, it was Steve Zudu, it was Jeff, who is a member, who is the vice chairman of the committee now. Jeff, it was Ibrahim, Haruna. They all sat together, and I think one more person. I hope I'm not missing anybody. They sat down together, and T was, I think T was one of the main person there, but they crafted this thing, and they asked for an opportunity to present it to the NCA house, which we did, and they came and did a beautiful presentation, PowerPoint presentation, and they broke it down step by step what they think NCA should be doing, committees that NCA should set, what should be NCA's focus, and after that we asked them to please submit it to us as a document, which they did. They submitted it to us as a document, and we gave them a go-ahead to go ahead and implement it. We gave them
deadline?
No, not deadline. Yeah, deadline, but it was like terms of reference, because NCA has a constitution for forming ad hoc committee. But what happened was, because we were so ambitious to go with them, we asked them to go ahead and present their paper before establishing them as a committee. So I just asked them to allow me to go back and do things constitutional, because tomorrow somebody's going to say you didn't do it constitutional. So everything went on well, and we were still in the process of them implementing what was in that paper. But going forward, NCA finally settled for a caretaker committee with a chairperson, Lady Kemi Musa. And what they're doing now is they are building on what we have established, and that is something very good. And you see it's working. People are coming back to NCA, people are joining. The WhatsApp group, the first WhatsApp group that we formed, we were able to analyze it in the NCA house and look at the things that didn't go right, what we didn't go right, what we should do right. And with members of the house, we constituted a committee to look into that WhatsApp group. Website, that's a website, it's WhatsApp. That WhatsApp group, it was Akin Odotun and Sheila Thomas. Then they were able to establish the two WhatsApp group that the committee is using right now, and that is one of the primary tools that we're using to mobilize people back to NCA. Okay. So everything you'll see that's going on now is a continuation of what we had all agreed in the NCA house to do. And as long as the committee continues on that route, NCA is built to be much, much greater. One thing I want people to know is that I think that we did better than Fabian when Fabian was there. This is a controversial statement. You know why? Because Fabian poured out to us everything that he knew. He gave us everything that he knew. So once you start from where somebody stopped, you know you have to be higher than that person. And he is proud of me today, and I say that with all confidence. Now, the caretaker committee, especially the chairperson, has to be greater than me. She has to do better than me. If at the end of the day, they don't do better than me, then they have failed. So I must begin to decrease for them to increase. And my duty is to make them succeed. But incidentally, people are warped in their opinions. They stay and they say they figure out what you're doing, but it doesn't matter. The leadership is very, very difficult. So when I say that we did better than Fabian, for your information, Fabian was a member of every meeting that we had. He attended he called. If he couldn't attend, he would call on the phone. When we did this teleconference, he would be at work, he would join the teleconference. Yes, I remember
one of them.
Exactly, and he worked, so he was a member of the administration all that time. So whatever he knew, wherever he stopped, he encouraged us to become higher than him. And that's what I have to say. The caretaker committee and eventually the new executive that will come after the caretaker committee will be better than me, and they will be greater than what we have done, because we will continue to help them. We'll continue to make sure that they're on the right track. If they miss the track, we'll give them a knock on the head as elder statespeople to correct them. But that's the future for NCA.
That's amazing. You are doing well. But you did well.
We're going to go into the questions now. Do you want to start from your side? Do you have any questions that we haven't hasn't touched?
Okay, I'm just going to quickly look over here to see if there is something that, however, there's something that anybody sent over here that we haven't touched. But however, before I even go over there, Chidi, what do you think that if you were to give the position again as Nigerian NCA, what do you think you want to do better to see the organization move forward to a different dimension, to different angle, to make it even stronger?
To tell you the truth, my mind doesn't work that way. I resigned from contesting because I still have an opportunity to vie for the position a second time. But I looked at what I was able to do, how much of myself I put into. Some people misunderstand your passion for something else, because I'm passionate about everything, and I am fully persuaded, as they will say in the Bible, and I have this fulfillment that I did my best for my community, and based on the way it affected my job and the time I sold into it, I think I have done my bit. I am not thinking of what I would do there. I'm thinking of how I can be a good support to whatever is there. So what I would want is the people there right now, they are intelligent and resourceful and very active men and women in our respected men and women in our community. I will be there standing by to support, to advise, to do whatever I can with every resources that I have to help them succeed. But so it doesn't really come to my mind what I have done my bit, and honestly, that is the way I see it. I've moved on.
Okay, for people who are listening right now and for people who are viewing, is there any uncompleted project? It could be financial project, it could be school, it could be structure. Is there anything that you think that you put in place during your own tenure that people are expecting to see the final outcome in the near future, to say, okay, during Chidi's tenure, he was one of the people that started this, and I mean like a project or financial project or anything, singular thing that people can identify you with?
Again, and this may not be the best, for me. I need to improve on that. But you see, I'm not the kind of person who keeps a lot of records and a lot of writing. I remember one of the members of the caretaker committee in the process of doing a handover, they were always at my tail that, Chidi, you need to sit down and do this and do this. Because not the kind of person I am. I keep walking, and I don't keep track of trying to. It's good to assess yourself, and I have assessed myself in so many ways. But I believe that we built a foundation. We did the best we could from what we had. Like, for instance, I know that the WhatsApp group is the strongest tool that NCA have right now. Some other people might not believe it, but I know that. And we were able to establish that WhatsApp group. It is to the credit of my administration, and I'm so proud of it. And it is doing what we wanted it to do. The project that I would want to see, in our plan for where we wanted to go, we categorized our interaction with the community in several phases. We had our interaction with the men, with the women, with the youth, and with the children. The area I would wish I did more is with the youth. The youth, so many of our children have now become youth, they have grown up, and there is no cohesion between them. There is nothing that ties them together. All the associations, whether local government, whether tribal, they are all talking, it's all for the adults, the elderly. Our children are lost in this thing. So I wish we had a way of bringing the youths together, and then relating with them under a platform. I know there are plans by the caretaker committee to do that, but that is an area I really want to see, or I would have wished that we did more. We approached them in the university. In fact, we started working with some of them, but as soon as they leave school or they change from one year to the other, things are disorganized, and you have to start rebuilding them again and start putting them together.
I have another question. This is regarding this WhatsApp group right now, because now and then I go there to look at what is going on. Do you think in your own mind that sometime in future, or maybe if I'm missing this, let me know, someone correct me, have you the people from the past and the people in the office right now ever thought about coming together collaboratively and shooting out some news or some information from that WhatsApp group to Nigeria? Maybe once every 3 months, they release something from NCA, Nigerian Canadian Association, for people in Nigeria to be aware that there is something or somebody in this part of the world called NCA. This is our message to you. Could be through newspaper, one of the biggest newspapers, could be through the biggest media in Nigeria.
trying to let the voices of the people here be heard in Nigeria?
I'll answer that. We see the way NCA is structured. NCA's finances, they have things that they are for. Okay, NCA does not have provision for spending money on those kind of media. And that's why NCA always uses people who can volunteer their platform to help NCA. Like GBKM has done several times. Like my own media organization, Worship Media, has done a lot for NCA. NCA has a newsletter right now that was started by the Caretaker Committee, and what they do is they kind of harmonize all the activities that happen within the community, and they publish it there in the newsletter. Now, NCA also has a website that it was developed halfway. There's moves to either change it now, drop it, redesign a new one, but there's a committee on that right now. When they are done and the website starts working the way it's supposed to be working, and they optimize it, because that's what we did before. What we did before was that, and this was done by my company, we optimized NCA and things concerning NCA, that once you type Nigerians in Canada, events in Canada, NCA will come up, our numbers will come up. So once people, it may be difficult for you to reach people individually, but once you put yourself out there on the online platform, then it's easy for people to find you. People, when they are reading things about Nigeria, when they are watching YouTube, you keep popping up. And that's what my administration was able to do. We blasted NCA all over the place. If you search Nigerians in Canada, you will find Toronto first. There's Ottawa, there's other places, but you will find Toronto first.
That's awesome.
And we spent money doing that, but those were things that we're glad that we did as our own community service to NCA.
That's amazing. I'm impressed.
Thank you. That was a very brilliant questions. We got a lot of questions on our end. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to take all. I know you've covered a lot of areas that people may be asked. Some of them is already answered by our talking. This is why we have agreed to take the questions at the end, so that we can minimize us going back and forth and so on and so forth. So again, thank you very much for your time. But however, do you have any political ambitions?
I've been pushing him.
Okay, you see, I don't set out calling myself a politician. What I know is that I see myself as a community servant and somebody who is always willing to serve my community. I do a lot of voluntary work. I have a foundation, it's called My Roots Foundation. We gather things here and we go to Nigeria and we do medical missions. There was a time we were doing it every month until we couldn't afford to do that. But we have also a gospel album, a 12-track album that we used to proceeds from that album. We put it into a My Roots Foundation and we minister to people. Now, anything that gives me an opportunity to serve people, that's what I am always there for. So if being in a political position gives me an opportunity to serve my people, why not?
That would be considered yes.
I would just say that I am there available to serve my people whenever I'm called upon.
We need some MPs around. We need some.
The reason I asked that, the reason I throw that question, given your track record, you've been a servant, given the way you explained it, also a leader at the same time, which is very hard to amalgamate both of them together. It's very hard. And in my opinion, you've successfully demonstrated that personality, in my opinion.
Thank you.
And that's why I'm asking, what's the next level now? Now that you are no more the current president, even though I do believe that you are still serving our community because it's your core value. So what is the next level?
Like I said, when I resigned from contesting for any position in NCA Toronto, it did not mean that I have resigned from activities of NCA. I'm still there. I will attend the meetings. I wasn't able to attend the meeting because of the last meeting, because hangover from my daughter's birthday,
which I missed. I know, which I missed. I'm so sorry.
Katia was there when you called me later.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So that was why I didn't attend the last meeting. So I will be there at every meeting. I will engage. I will defend NCA Toronto because this is my passion. And just like when you are part of building something, you don't want to see it destroyed. So I'll be there all the time to serve wherever I'm called upon. If becoming a counselor in Canada is another way of serving my community. I'm so
looking forward to that.
We will look at that option. If being an MP, but sometimes you want to allow your people. If your people call you and they say, "Come and go and represent us," then. But I've been exploiting a lot of those and talking to some people.
The good thing is that talking about MP is election year. We all should go out there, let our voice be heard. We had some previous program that aired this morning on this platform, also hammers on that. So a lot of us are being empowered now to come out.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, I would say, it would be nice to have somebody of your caliber on the front line. We all would definitely support. I know you haven't said you will, you haven't said you won't, but I'm just saying that we're always here to put our support.
One big thing, yes, thank you, Kenny Bad, but one thing you really have to consider before, or I have to consider before going into another elected position is my family. Honestly speaking, being out there in leadership has a lot of impact on your family. I thank God I'm so blessed with the kind of wife I have. If I wasn't married to somebody like Erica, I don't know how I would have gone about it, because all your time people call you 2 a.m. in the morning and they don't realize they're calling you from Nigeria, they're calling you from Italy, they're calling from somewhere, and they're saying, "Oh, we're here," and you have to respond to them. Mm-hmm. People come and they find the address to your house, they find themselves at your doorstep, and you have to take them in. So there are so many things that comes with being out there. So I would have to speak to my wife and know and be sure that she's ready for another hurricane of because there's a lot that comes with that. You have to be sure that she's ready. But for now, I need to find time.
At Jason Osagi Jackson, you emphasized that Chidi should answer the question. So please indicate which of the questions you are referring to. Sometimes it's very hard to answer all the questions because when you keep talking, sometimes you forgot the other one. Yeah. So if we here have skipped any of the question, if any of the question is unattended to, please by all means bring it up before we round up this show, and I know he's generous enough to answer it, and I do believe that nothing is done intentionally here to avoid anything.
No, I'm not avoiding anything.
Haven't cleared the air. You want to continue or you want us?
No, I'm still browsing for questions to see. Questions are coming, and I'm also looking online to make sure that this is showing on my page on Facebook.
Oh, okay, that's good. She's one of our social media guru here in Toronto, so do not blame her. That's what she do. She does it very well. I actually follow her. Katia Vanillo is one of the pace setter in the community.
Wow.
However, sir, it's always nice having you. What measure are you going to take? Be specific on this now. Are you going to take to support the current government or when that time comes, people get elected and they take offices? What would be your position? We know your original position, which is the former, I don't like to use the word ex, former president, but what will you specifically be doing to catapult them to the next level?
I would be available. Because if I'm available, then that means I'm available. That means I'm within reach. So whatever it is that comes, because you don't know what's going to come up. So whatever it is that comes up, I'll be available. And that's what I really want from people. You know how I am. If I just tell you, I just, Kenny, please stand by me in this thing. And you stood by me. And we went from carrying drinks to whatever, so to doing interview. So as long as, and that's what people don't understand, you need to make yourself available. Some people come to NCA targeting a post Some people come to NCA to do business with NCA. What can they take out of it? And sometimes they think we don't know, but make yourself available. If you make yourself available, you could be called for something. You could be called to donate money. You could be called to please help us go and talk to this person. You see, I still talk in the present. I'm still a part and parcel of NCA. And people might misunderstand. Somebody told me that you're no longer the president, but you're still carrying yourself like you're the president. No, it's my passion. Actually, my wife had to one time tell me, listen.
You know what you're saying is very amazing. Yeah. Why I said that yesterday, because of the election I just had in Kenya, and so we're reaching out to the Kenya community in Canada. Yeah. While we're doing the research, the first number that came out, and I said to my team, I said, I want to be the person calling this person, because I want to believe that he will be the president. So I just want to rub my shoulder and say, do you know who picked the phone? A former president. He's like, I'm in the U.S. now. I cannot help you. I'm not the president. I'm like, your number is still there. He's like, it takes a while for you to start going down. And the guy, was able to refer me now to the current president, which we are now working to make, to working things out.
Yes.
Availability.
Yes, I wanted to talk a little bit about that because people are misunderstanding it. You see, one thing we did with NCA when we came on board is, like I said, to try to project this as much as possible. You know how the internet works. The catch on a lot of people's systems on this thing is still the past administration. It takes time. As the new administration comes up, makes postings, puts things out there, Google will begin to drop what was there before. It will just wave the other person, and then it keep coming up. So people are still going to be calling me.
It's not about, I think it's about SEO, and it will take a while before that will be achieved.
We cannot go and begin to undo what we did. We can't go and put something out there that starts on, because it's not to NCA's favor also. But what we do and what I do is that anybody that calls me, in fact, this morning when I was driving to this interview, a guy called me. I don't know if he's watching this thing, he can confirm it. He called me from Calgary and said somebody here, a Nigerian person here, needs accommodation, but they called him. I said, please, I'm hurrying for an interview, but I will please send you the
current person.
Yeah, so I had to park on the road and then send it to you, because if I don't pack and send it to him,
he will bother you.
And then you may even forget, and he may even say you didn't care.
No. When the person finally finds out who's in charge, the person will say, he even said he was going to send the number. He never sent the number. So that means that I didn't want the number to be given. So it's I want people to
the reputation,
understand.
you
that
have
sometimes
to keep on.
It's not so, and I have to keep doing this work. Whether in the morning, whether I'm busy, I have to attend to people.
Like a charity work.
Exactly. I still keep attending to people. Nobody calls me and I turn them off. They call me, I just direct them to the present administration, and they get help.
As we're running up, I'm not sure if you're ready for that.
If I'm ready for what? For more questions?
As we are running, questions.
No. I don't want to bore people anymore. Is there any other important question?
No,
Did you
most of
receive
them.
Any?
Yes, it's been covered already.
Okay.
The only one that was really straight was the one I read. I just now that said, go straight to the answer. And I asked. Before I said it, somebody already on our team already asked him, please be specific.
Okay.
What answer did you mean? And I also said it live, so. He's not replying. I'm not seeing anything. We have a lot of questions, but they're all being covered, Yeah.
So the last question that I might want to ask, Chidi, where will people really find you, to say, okay, we're looking for Chidi, especially being on YouTube, like me and you. I know you.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to go on to.
Yes.
Let's leave that for the end.
Okay.
We're all going to. I would like us to give, even if it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, talk about our platform and so on. And so forth, because we are all three entities here. When we finish going back and front with the Nigeria community things, and then we'll talk about our own brand.
Because what I wanted to say is, I wouldn't want it to be more about people trying to look at when it comes.
No, but she doesn't mean it that way.
No,
she means your brand.
I understand. But let me be specific and clear here. That if someone is reaching out to the Nigerian community, if you have questions regarding the Nigerian community, regarding everything Nigerian Canadian Association Toronto. The right person to contact is Kemi Amusan. I don't have her number here. She's the chairperson of the caretaker committee. We also have Nsa Achibon, who is the chairman of the NCA Board of Directors. We have Jeff Obaho, who is the vice chairperson of the committee. We have Okaka, who is the secretary of that committee. We have Dr. Gubadia, who is the treasurer, and we have Akin, who is the public relations officer. These are the people that you should contact to help you, not Chidi.
You know what's funny about the way you said it?
Yes.
If you are still called upon, you have the resource to help, you will still help.
No, I will direct.
Yeah, but it's still a help. Direct is still a help.
Yes,
it's still a help. It's just a different level of help. You know what I mean?
Who you help?
I did try to try. I tried to try.
I like that.
I did try to try. It's fun. It's been a fun.
I like
fun.
that song when you have.
We used to use it. We used to use it a lot. We used to use it a lot. It's funny, man. But on a lighter note, thank you very much, Mr. Chidi. We know that there's a lot to be done achieved in our community. We know there's a lot, but what a lot of people don't. I always use the Nigerian film industry to measure a lot of things. The reason I use the Nigerian film industry to measure a lot of things is that today a lot of people will say, I'm an artist, I do this, they take it to the next level. I remember we used to watch movies that it looks like it's raining. But you know what I mean? But those people were laying foundations. You know what I mean? Let's see from that angle. Those guys were laying foundations, and those are the foundations that the current guys now that they think. Even the music that they go abroad now, they sing 50,000 just to sing for 20 minutes. People laid the foundation. Those people usually don't get paid enough to do it. But next people that take it over get paid. So I see anybody that serves in a public office like that no matter what you do, sometimes you don't get enough credit. And we have the custom, the tradition of giving people credit when they're in their grave. Oh, he was a good man, she was a good woman, But give it to me now when I'm alive.
Exactly.
If you think Kenny's doing something right, I'll give you my postal code. Go me. Come bring it to me. Bring the goodies. Let's celebrate it. So on that note, I want to start from you. Let us talk about your brand now. You know what I mean? I have been privileged to, follow your brand and so on. I think your brand is very rich when it comes to content. But one thing that I love about your brand, I mean the social media part of it. And you also have other brands, and I wanted to talk about all. Don't worry, we have time. Okay. But the social media part, the persistency, the consistency, accuracy, those are the things that I really like. And the flair you add to it, you make it look natural. You make it look like everyday thing. Like, oh, that could be me. That could have happened to me. It's not that unreachable, that you make it accessible. Tell us a little bit about all the brand, your foundation, and so on.
Yeah, okay, let me start with Worship Media. Worship Media is, as a name, when you say worship media, people say, is it a church? People have asked me to change the name, but let me take this opportunity to explain that. What we mean by worship media is that like our logo would say, we say worship media, creativity inspired by divinity. What we're trying to say is that whatever we're able to do, whatever we're able to achieve is a source of worship to God. We're using it to worship. We want people to look at what, just like right now, you'll say, oh, what you're doing is fine. It's bringing glory to the one who has given me the ability to do that. And that's why it's worship media. Now, worship media is also created out of just who we are. We don't stress. We try not to stress. We try not to be like stereotype, do this particular thing. We just do things when it happens. If we are convinced about a story or about an event or something to follow, we just follow it. We follow it because that's what we have been led to follow. And we don't hoard anything. Anybody who approaches us and asks us how we succeed, we just make ourselves available to people. Worship media, we do photography, we do videography, we do internet, we do websites, we do magazines, we do other graphics. There's so many things that we do under worship media. we do business branding and all of that. That's about, we're on Twitter, of course. We also do music. We do music productions, audio production, and we do video productions. And you also know a branch of Worship Media is also Grateful Family, where we have music outfits. We sing at events. We have a music video out there, and we use the money we make from that to support our foundation, which is My Roots Foundation. My Roots Foundation came out of my father was sick, and we took him to the hospital, UNTH Enugu, and they didn't even have not one single testing apparatus for this blood sugar. You should know, you're a medical person. So they didn't have that test kit to test his blood.
Diabetic kit.
Yes, they didn't have it. I said, in the whole hospital, they don't have that. So when we came back here, we said, no, we have to do something. So we formed My Roots Foundation. We did a book drive. People brought so many books, we couldn't even have a place to store it. We went around our doctor. He contacted other doctors in other medical places, and they supplied us with drugs, gloves, and supplies. We packaged everything, and then we shipped some vehicles to Nigeria. We loaded it in those vehicles, and they took it to Nigeria, and they distributed it. They gave it to that hospital, and they gave it to some people that were identified that they were having this blood sugar issue. Now, we also embarked on a project to build a community center. That project is still ongoing. We have the plans for it. We could have started it, but when we went
in Canada or back home?
No, back home in Nigeria, in my village. We wanted to start the program, but when we went home to start the program, immediately they heard that these people from Canada, all the lands in that area went up by millions. So we said, okay, let's wait for a while, but it's still ongoing. And then finally, we have Fixed Team Building Contractors Limited. That is actually the main business that we do. As you know, I'm an architect by training, and my wife is also an architect. She has a master's degree. She has a master's degree in architecture, and we are members of the Ontario Association of Architects. We are also members of the Royal Institute of Canadian Architects. So we're owner for real. We are not. We are licensed in what we do. And then Fixing Building Contractors is a registered contracting firm. We do basements, we do additionals, we do anything. We do flooring, we do roofing, anything that you can do in home renovation, we do that. Let me not bore you. This is just some of the brands that we have.
Amazing.
Do you get the time?
I know.
Well,
no wonder you're not chubby like me.
Come on, are you chubby?
Well, I don't want to say fat.
You're a big man.
I'm not chubby, I'm fat.
You're a big man.
Let's cover it up. Let's blanket it. Let's blanket it. So, Miss Katia, I know you're vast. Your hands are full too. You're always very busy. Again, thank you very much for taking the time. It's fun for me. I can go on and on and on. This is really fun. I think we should do more of this. Yeah. We should, let our people know what we have achieved, what our vlogs and so on and so forth. Tell us a little bit about your outfit. I know you have a lot of them.
Wow.
Just go. You have all the time.
Just before Katia goes on, I want to know, guys. We're gonna have an interview with Kenny, and we're gonna have an interview with Katia. Actually, we had an interview with Katia Valino, but that tape got corrupted. So
man,
so we're gonna redo it, and we're gonna call you.
Yes, sir. No problem. Anytime. Thank you. I'll be honored to be there.
Okay. Kenny Baz, I want to throw this question back to you. The first time you heard about Katia Valino, what was the first thing that came to your mind? The name Katia Valino.
To be honest, I thought it was Italian.
I thought it was a designer.
That you are probably into designing in Italy or somewhere.
Of course, I'm a fashion designer.
That's what I thought. And then, just to follow up, to throw more light to that question, when I saw you, I'm like, okay.
Is she married to Italian?
No, I didn't think that. I just thought, why is she denying my country?
Why should
I like that.
That's
my mind was like, why is she denying my country?
Should be like,
this is what I want to clear the air, because you're not the first and you're not going to be the last, right? Living in this country for over 20 years, I have always answered my local name, which is Wando. And people...
Wait. The word local, paraphrase.
Like, sorry, my Igbo name.
Yes,
my
traditional name.
My
Yes.
traditional
But if you say
name.
local,
It's Wando.
then you are getting me
Wando.
angry the more.
No.
It's Wando.
People will be wondering, why is she answering that? Really and truly, my name is Katia. That's my mother's name. And me and my mother had the same birthday. And my mother was so like furious that I don't answer the name. Like, this is the thing. So I promised my mother, I say, you know what? Before you go down the grave, I will bring up that name, Katia. Because if you check on my birth certificate, Katia is there. My mother was one of the people that were raised by Reverend sisters. I would say brainwashing those days for people to carry that name.
Oh my God.
You know? So my mother gave me that name. And then when I finished my nursing school, I went to do medical aesthetics. And I told my mother, I say, you know what? When I register a business, I'm going to carry that name. So Valino is my husband's name. My husband is Vinny. So I was trying to put the names together. So I came.
Vinny, is that a Nigerian name?
It's also. So I said, you know what? I promised my mother I'm going to carry this name, but I want to make it something that stands out. So I put it together, Katia Valino, and it's a registered trademark. So when I launched my clothing line, it came up with Katia Valino. So Katia Valino started trending as Katia, as sitting right here, right? And so many people has written me on social media. Are you Italian? Are you this? No, I am a Nigerian. And when you trace back, being a Christian and religious, when we were all getting confirmation, we all have Christian names, different kinds of baptismal names and confirmation name. So this is where Katia comes in as my business. So let's talk about my blogging industry. I started blog. If you have been following me, I am a woman that is very conspicuous and very quintessential. Yes, that is. I know. We said this in the beginning that if you don't beat your drum, nobody will beat your. I don't care. I like
people to subscribe to worship media. My wife will kill me.
So many in my own family. I am the shortest of all. My mother has 10 of us.
Oh wow, that's a big family.
So people, when they hear the name, they wanted to see somebody that is 6 foot, and then when they see this small petite woman that has that name, I still think that I can control the waves and the moves and stuff like that. Okay, you guys will be thinking I'm blowing my own trumpet too, but you know what? I love blowing. The people that knows me knows that I love to blow my trumpet. Hello, if you don't advertise yourself, especially social media is free. So advertise yourself. So I started blogging as a fashion blogger. Started writing about outfits, how to coordinate things and blah blah. But you know, living in this part of the world in Canada, you must learn to be able to expand. Especially when we have summer, we have winter, we have this. So taking pictures and telling people how to style. Thank you, Chidi, for being one of my major and the first sponsors, taking my pictures and putting it on website. So winter, here is winter. What do I do? The weather is so bad. I cannot go outside to take pictures anymore. The best thing for me to do is to see how I can digress from being a fashion blogger to being a blogger, because I love gossip. I started writing about fashion, gossip, this, that. And then when Stephanie Otobo's interview came in, when Chidi called me, I wasn't really on YouTube. I had like 2 posts. Thank you, Chidi. Before when I did my fashion show through Jim Kerigiannis, I had like 2 videos sitting there. And then when Chidi called me for an interview with Stephanie and stuff, that was like my first video on there. People were really, oh my God, we love you. Can you do this more? Can you do that more? So I say, you know what? I started doing YouTube. And then, but the good thing, another good thing is that every day we are open for growth.
Yeah.
We gotta grow. You gotta follow your audience. You gotta listen to them. So from being a fashion designer to a fashion blogger to having an entertainment website, the most important thing that I do right now on my YouTube is changing people's life. Coming from a nursing background, so many people are being diagnosed every day with cancer. I sat back, I say, you know what can I give back to people? I need to give people something back by going into your kitchen and using tomatoes or using cucumber to rub on your face to cure your cancer, to have that younger looking skin, and things started changing. I have my own skincare line. I don't only have clothing line, I have skincare line. I touch people's life in a positive way by telling them just drink water and things will be fine. So we have gifts.
I use Katia.
Yes.
Valino cream. That's why I'm this handsome.
So this is one of the things
Well,
from being a nurse.
in my opinion, if people are looking, you are very, 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 very. If people are listening now, they will be like, "What is she talking about?" Because I would have expected you to bring one for me or one as a demo. What usually end up with demo? What usually end up with demo is
you buy more.
What comes to the elders, you don't take it back, right?
Of course,
you just leave it there, and then
Because
you know.
today is Chidi's day.
You would have you would have still bring it for people to see. But however, how can people get hold of your products?
My products are on my website, www.katiavalino.com, and even on my Facebook page. This is the first picture you see. What do you call that picture? The
profile picture.
The profile picture is my product. It's Katia Valino. I am on Instagram. I am on YouTube. I talk about it every day on YouTube. I tell people how to look young. Sex and relationship is what I'm missing. I love to talk about that on Sundays. Oh my God, because let me tell you, if you do something and you don't accommodate everybody, then there's a gap
It's
that
true.
is missing.
If you talk through, you die. If you don't talk through, you die.
Yeah, so-
Ajakwa, yes.
So the only thing I'm
Die.
when I'm doing the skincare, I also
You should talk about sex too.
I talk about sex. You should listen to my Sunday episodes. I don't need to go to school for that. You know, it comes natural. I've been there, done that.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're listening at home, that's Katia Vanilla for you. It was great, guys. I just want to say a very big thank you. We are most honored to have a former president of Nigeria, Canadian Association, Toronto, live in GBKM FM. We are very honored to have you here.